Good evening. Welcome to the 12-Man podcast. I sound like I'm doing the news at 10. Live, Facebook, YouTube, on Spotify, Amazon, Deezer, all that nonsense. Can you tell the move we're in? Me, Steve Jackson, I'm your host for the evening. You've got Mr. John Donovan with us as usual. Evening, John Don.
Evening. You okay?
Not bad. How's the leg?
I hope it's getting better. It's strapped up. It's in a splint. It's elevated. So I can't really see anything that's going under all that dressing. But I hope it's healing okay.
Good. I was going to say back on your feet in no time, but
yeah.
yeah, we'll reserve that. So don't worry, there's no rush. Don't worry. And also, Borough Super Van, the man in the know, and Carrick's biggest fan, Nick Waits with us. Evening, Nick.
Evening, Steve.
How are we doing?
I'm not so bad yourself.
Living the dream. Living
Just
the
about
dream.
recovered from Friday, but then we've got another day tomorrow, haven't we?
Oh, God, don't. Yes, they come thick and fast, unfortunately, in this league. So, yes, we're going to talk Bristol City. Go on.
Remember what Captain Tom said. Tomorrow will be a good day.
He was way older than me. I had to think then. But yes, you're absolutely right. Tomorrow is another day. And I imagine Stoke fans are probably thinking the same. So, but yes, we'll go through Bristol City. We'll have a chat about that. We'll dismantle that. We've had a weekend to mull it over. It's not been a good weekend. But we're dropping into the bottom half of the championship. Does that really relieve the pressure on Carrick anymore? Obviously not, but you know. And where do we go from here? Obviously, we go to Stoke tomorrow and got Derby on Saturday. But yeah, get your views in, get your comments in. Right, let's start with the team. So we were saying, John Don, last week we wanted Dale Frying, we wanted Anthony Dyke-Stealing. We got our wish. Was that the team you wanted on Friday night?
It was a team that I thought could do well. You know, I was saying last week on the podcast that we had to come away from Bristol City with something. As it turned out, we didn't get anything points wise, but and Nick is going to laugh at me here, but I saw some positive signs on Friday. I saw better attitude, a bit of battling for parts of the game. I'll when we go into the game, I'll speak more in depth about it. But the team I thought was okay to do the job that I wanted us to do.
Wow. Positives. I mean, we'll go through them. So I'm glad you found some. But Nick, when you saw the team, when you got to Ashton Gate, were you happy with that team?
I think by and large, Steve, I questioned the top two. You know, Ian Atchell, you know, not rocket science to see that he doesn't look fit. And I think also, you know, we've never under the whole of Carrick's reign, really, I don't think we've never played well with the front two, whether that's been Latte Lath and well, certainly in the last couple of seasons, whether that's been Latte Lath and Conway or, you know, whatever. But, you know, I just thought, but then you looked at what was on the bench and you thought, well, what are the options really?
Well, that was it. We didn't really have an option, did we? It was case. Did you not think there was a case of, I mean, it was mentioned a little bit last week, Ian Atchell being tried and tested as a number 10. Do you think that was what the mindset was?
It probably was, yeah. But, you know, you've got to have, you know, unless you're playing as sort of the up top completely and you're almost becoming a target man, you've got to have some mobility.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate at the moment. You can see why he hasn't had many games for Seville, or, you know, his lack of games for Seville is showing big time at the moment. But I say we'll go through that. But do you agree with that, John? Do you think you know, he's been looked at as a number 10, 7, number 9. We know he's not the most mobile of strikers. He's not what Latte Laff used to do, running around causing mayhem. Conway seems to be the man that's been tried to do that.
Well, you know, Conway's coming back from his injury. It was against his old club. I think he was a show in to start, and I'm pleased. I'm pleased he did. I don't particularly see Iheanacho as a number 10, but there was one stat that Nick sent to me, which was pretty revealing regarding the number of times he's taken off when he started a game. Do you want to repeat that stat?
Yeah, well, now, John, I mean, after Friday's game, the last 90 games he's started, he's only finished 8.
Yeah, that's
so he's been subbed in 82 out of 90, 82 out of 90 games.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a hell of a lot. I mean, that either says that it says he either puts everything in for 60, 70 minutes and then is dragged off because he's got nothing left, or that you know, he's just not cutting the mustard. So unless it's somewhere in between, but that's an amazing stat to only finish
we had that,
8 games out of 90 started.
We had that with our friend Mr. Nick Piezu, didn't we? He didn't make many games. He didn't last 90 minutes on very many occasions. But
yeah,
if you had a choice at the moment between starting Nick Piezu and starting Iheanacho, which one would you choose?
Well, yeah, that was it. I mean, it was the physicality, the build of Vic Piezo. I mean, he was never lacking in anything he gave us. I mean, one thing I could say about him, he wasn't the most graceful or skillful of players, but he was honest, and he'd give you everything. So yeah, out of the two at the moment, in his short spell at Middlesbrough, Piezo would be a choice ahead of Iheanacho.
Yeah, he would. I used to love Uche. Best thing I saw Uche do, apart from his goal at Mansfield, was that run he did. He started running from the 18-yard box against Brentford. It was the most disorganised, loopy run I've ever seen in my life. His legs and arms are going absolutely everywhere. But it just absolutely showed the work ethic of the man. I thought, fair play him doing that. He looks an absolute idiot doing it, but I loved him. You couldn't ever doubt what he did on the pitch. I thought he was brilliant at times.
No, like I say, he wasn't bought for his poise or grace, was he?
No, Neil Warnock definitely didn't have that in mind when he scouted him. He didn't think he'll do the run up front for me. You know, he thought he'll be my battering ram, and I'll just put everything around him, which worked. I mean, look at Fulham away; it worked. So, but anyway, let's not think about good times. Let's go back to the bad time. Right, but we start on a good note. First half, Nick, you were in the stands at Ashton Gate. You know, we grew into the first half. I know Bristol City had a couple of chances, but I felt when the goal came from Tommy Conway, I felt, one, that was coming because the abuse he was getting, and two, I thought we actually deserved that goal.
Yeah, whether we deserved it or not, Steve, we certainly grew into the game. We certainly looked a bit more threatening, and as John said, we there was some green shoots in terms of the defence. I think probably, you know, and again, Dale Fry, very much no nonsense throughout the game. You know, if a ball had to go into row Z, it went into row Z. You know, and we weren't, you know, there was no standing on ceremony. You could see that they'd been instructed, presumably, that take no risks, which is what we had to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, unfortunately, it did creep back in as the game went on. There was still times where I was thinking, "Oh God, please get rid." I think there was a kick that Travers did that Sinclair Armstrong just stepped over, and I thought he puts his foot in the right place, he blocks that. But the goal itself,
I mean,
John,
again, we could have gone in 3-1 down, couldn't we? With
Yeah.
You know, with the chances that they created. But you know, I wouldn't say we deserve to be in the lead. But I wouldn't say, you know, it probably was a less of a travesty than going in 1-1 at Bramall Lane, wasn't it?
Yeah. Would you agree, John?
Yeah. Like I say, I mean, when I said earlier that I saw positive signs, and it was the fact that we done less. Can I say fannying about at the back? Like Nick said, it was sometimes it was no nonsense. Sometimes it was a case of just clear your lines. I thought we played quite well defensively. Not back to not back to how we know we've played in the past, where we've been absolutely solid and impenetrable. But we looked better across the back line, across the back four. I would say better in all positions, but I thought Dykesdale had a very difficult first half. He was the one weak link that I noticed out of the back four, but it was better. I was hopeful. I saw more. I saw more. I saw in the first half more determination, a bit better attitude. They've got a good home record against us. They've got a good home record this season. They're above us in the table, and it was always going to be difficult. But I thought we handled it well first half.
Yeah, like I said, Jason just said exactly what I was about to say. That one player that really stood out for me first half was Neto Borges. I thought he was absolutely brilliant first half. I thought his delivery into the box, I was screaming at the strikers, get yourself on that 6-yard line, because that's where the ball was going every single time. There was a couple that flashed across the box, and I thought, any other striker, even dare I say it, Latte Laugh, would have been on the end of them. He'd put them in the net.
Yeah.
I know he would have, because the balls he was put in, I thought were absolutely brilliant. But
we didn't gamble on them, and I think that's down to maybe a lack of confidence across the whole of the team. Yeah, he did. He put some balls in that really should have ended with a butter player getting in the end, but that wasn't to be.
No, definitely, I completely agree with you. I never ever doubt his work ethic. He always works hard, Borges, and I thought he really did put a shift in on Friday night. As we'll talk about end of the game, what he was doing with the fans, etc. But second half, I know you highlight this quite a lot, Nick, when you're speaking to fans. Carrick's, he's not reactive. He's not even proactive. I noticed it. Everybody noticed it. 60 minutes, we looked leggy. And I felt that their manager did exactly what we wanted our manager to do if it was the other way around. He pounced on that. He brought on fresh legs and just ran round us. And ultimately, that's where our downfall began, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, it wasn't rocket science. You know, everybody in the stand was saying the same thing. You know, and nothing changes. And you know, I look back and, you know, when was the last time that we played better in the second half than we did in the first?
Yeah.
You could maybe make an argument for Oxford when you know in that game, but that was certainly the last time. And you know, it should be 50-50 almost, shouldn't it? You know, and is it because teams are out thinking us? Certainly on Friday night, it was I mean, it was the classic case, wasn't it? You bring on 4 substitutes, and the game changes.
Well, that's it. You're absolutely right. It was, John. We were talking about it on Friday. We saw every one of us was saying, "Get a sub on." Iheanacho looked like his legs were done. The wingers weren't working as hard. Berzog was having to come inside because the running wasn't happening down the centre. We were just waiting for something to happen, and unfortunately, as I say, Liam Manning did the. Is it still Liam Manning in charge with them?
Yeah.
He did the work. He did the homework and went, I think now is our time to pounce. And 4 subs, and we were brought back down to earth. No pun intended. With an absolute thump and I couldn't say it wasn't coming. And unfortunately, the goal came from the guy you mentioned earlier, Dijksteel, because it was his man at the back post that he didn't cover.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see how we should be not fit enough to last 60, 70 minutes, as some people have suggested. I mean, we're a professional outfit. I mean, this time of the season, it's not about getting match fitness. It's just about maintaining your body condition with stretches, with massages. No heavy work. The reason we looked leggy, as others have put it, is because we were sloppy. We were 1-0 down, 1-0 up. Sorry, they were bound to come at us. Yet we never kept the ball for any period of time and tried to control the game. I watched Newcastle, Nottingham Forest yesterday. Newcastle were comfortably up 4-1 at half time. Forest came back to them, got it back to 4-2, close to 4-3, and then did get 4-3. But at 4-2, Newcastle decided that they got injuries. They were deciding that they were going to give free kicks away on the halfway line. It's just to stop momentum. It's to kill the game. It's to try and control the game and take the wind out of the sails of the opposition. We didn't have anybody on that pitch to do that. And to compound that, we gave the ball away cheaply, sloppily. So they had far, far more possession, and we didn't kill the game. And it eventually told. I just feel as though we don't manage the game well when we're in front. And I don't think that just comes from the touchline. I think it comes from the team, the players on the pitch. There's quite a lot of experience on that pitch, and they should be saying, look, I mean, the worst example that I've seen is the Boxing Day game, Sheffield Wednesday. You know, we go in at 3-0. Yes, they'd give us a bit of a scare just before half time, but we went in 3-0. We knew they were going to come out, but we conceded. We got a man sent off. We got the goalkeeper injured. It was still 3-1. Yet nobody said, right, let's take the wind out of their sails. Let's stop them playing. Let's try and get back into this game. We just seem to freeze. And that's what we do a lot of the time. Game management isn't just something that Carrick and his team do. It's what the players on the pitch should be doing. And I don't see it when we're 1-0 up or when we're ahead of it in any game.
You see it when we're getting beat, though, John?
I'm sorry?
Do you see it when we're getting beat?
Oh, no. But we're not when we are getting beat, we're not in control of the game. So at 1-0, we're in control of the game. We should be saying, right, okay, let's stop this. But we're not.
We should be doing what other teams do to us. When it's the role reversal.
I agree, but the reason we don't allow them to come onto us, it isn't as if we sit back. They've obviously got to push on because they're the home team and the 1-0 down. But we don't help ourselves by not keeping hold of the ball, by breaking up their play. We are sloppy and they've got the ball all the time. And it's just assault after assault after assault. We could help ourselves so much if we just managed to keep hold of the ball. We don't have to keep hold of it in their box. We just have to keep hold of it in the centre of the pitch. Maybe he's in their half of the pitch. But we just give possession to them fairly cheaply and fairly easily. And it just invites wave after wave after wave. And because our confidence is rock bottom, we just can't deal with it.
I think as well, though, John, that, you look at that team and there wasn't an out ball really, was there? That, obviously we're massively missing Ben Doak, it goes without saying, but in the actual, he's never going to be a man that you can pass the ball to hold it up, or he just doesn't seem that. Certainly at the moment, he doesn't seem that sort of player. You know, and it's a sad indictment, isn't it, that, you know, we went 45 minutes in the second half and we didn't have one shot.
The fact of the matter is, though, that
we had one corner, and that one corner second bounce was cleared at the front post. You know, it didn't even reach the goal of our single corner in the second half that Hayden Hackney took. Second bounce, the defender cleared it near post.
we did have an outlet, though. We had Tommy Conway, who was running off his man. I saw a couple of times when our midfield knocked the ball into the position that he didn't want it, and he was flailing his arms. I don't know whether you picked that. I picked it up because I was watching it on the telly. But he was saying to them, what you're putting the ball there for? I'm making my run. So he was the out, but we didn't find him. We were just giving the ball away. It was frustrating. It was you know, just try and get the game. Try and keep hold of the game. Yes, you're going to get the home team coming on you because, you know, they're trying to win. They're on home territory. They're 1-0 behind. You're going to get them. You know that's going to happen. Deal with it better. At least they can't score while we've got the ball. We don't have to make chances. If we did, it would help. But just keep hold of the ball, you know. But we don't seem to be able to do that. We're losing possession very, very quickly, far too often, and it just invites wave after wave of pressure on us.
No, I completely agree. I mean, we invited the pressure second half. We really did. I know people say it's really good defending, and at times it really was. You know, we did dig in and we did go with, but we were an accident waiting to happen. And quite frankly, that's the second goal we conceded, which ended up being the winner. I've never been so embarrassed about a goal. Every single one of them stood there. George Urty didn't. He reacted. He thought if that ball hits the bar or Bar Travers makes a save, I'm with the first man on it. No one followed him. They're just all. If you watch the goal back, they're all stood in a line. They just watched him. They just
Well,
all
looked. There was three forwards. There was three forwards, Steve, that were, you know, if it got at any angle, one of the three forwards had gone past all our defenders who never moved.
Mm-hmm.
It's embarrassing.
We had five in the wall, so that left 5 other players able to react or be proactive to what might happen. And like Nick says there, they had three players ready to pounce, and we didn't have any. We were just totally flat-footed, totally static. I mean, that was the second goal. I mean, the first goal, again, was, I would say, a silly, basic, rash error from Anthony Dicedale. He decides that he's going to go for that cross ball with a header. He didn't need to. He had to be sure that he was going to make that header to go for it. But he went, and because he missed it, the guy had time to get the ball under control, plenty of time to look up, and he found a free Bristol City player who had the shot. It came out, and then that Earthy tapped in the rebound. But I thought Dicedale was far too rash for that first goal.
And I've got to say as well, I've never known, and I've picked this up a few times over the last few weeks, I've never known a team's centre halves stand behind each other. We never stood side by side. We stood behind each other. Dale Fry stood behind Vandenberg, or the other way around. But you get my point. They're not in a line. The whole defence is in a line. There's no structure. There's no balance about us. And I don't get it. I don't get it. The only time we stood in the line was when all 9 of them stood there and watched the 3 players from Bristol City go, I hope the ball comes my way, because I've got a tap in here. Because, honestly, thank God we had Mark Travers in goal. Because it could have been bad on Friday night. He really did have to make a few good saves.
You could say that about the last 3 or 4 games, though, couldn't you? If we hadn't had Mark Travers, you know, we could have been getting beat by a lot more.
It was, yeah. No, you're absolutely right. It was. It annoyed me. Friday night annoyed me. Like we just looked. I've never been so embarrassed by our defending. Like I can fully take because I know what the results are like at Bristol City. I've been there many times. I've watched us play many years against Bristol City. You'd probably write them down and say it's probably one of our bogey teams, and you wouldn't be far off it.
They're not a
And you
good.
think,
They're not a good team, though.
no, that's exactly it. They're not a good team, and you think, how are we getting outdone, outthought by that? The basics would get us halfway there, and we're just not even doing that right. And
I mean, let's face it. We stole their number one player at the start of the season. Their best player. He's come to us, and now they look better than us.
They do.
Yeah, they do. I can't deny that, Nick. They've got a decent home record. They play with confidence. And yeah, it's. I struggle at times how a team that only a few months ago, despite still making defensive lapses, we were flying, banging goals in, looking confident. Build-up play was nice. So what we witness now, the contrast is absolutely stark.
The startling picture for me, it wasn't even the pictures on the pitch. It was, we conceded the second. If anybody's watched the highlights back or watched on telly, it showed the Borough bench and they were all sat in a row, all in the same position, like that. Not one of them. Obviously, Michael Carrick was stood at the front, front of the technical area, obviously trying to, well, I didn't say trying to do something, but most of the time he just stands there a bit static. But the rest of them, Graham Carrick, Gran Ledbitter, the lot were just sat there, same position. We looked absolutely dumbfounded as to, well, I don't know how to save this. It wasn't exactly like it was a last minute winner. It was 10 minutes to go. We sat there because that's when we started making our subs. Ian Atchell was the first. Was it Ian Atchell the first one off? Yeah. 83 minutes. You know what I mean?
And then Force came on after 88.
That's not enough time to be making subs, to make an impact as a sub. I know people say you need one kick, but I honestly I'm struggling for answers now. I really am, and I know, John, you're the guy I come to for positivity about Borough, but seeing you say I'm struggling for work, that just sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I'm in a situation now where I'm in the minority now. You know, I mean, I would suggest I still think Carrick is a good coach and he can get us out of this. My questions come with who he seeks for advice, and whether or not they're good enough. I also question the mental strength of some of the players. It's no good. It's no good just being good when things are going for you and trying your hardest when things are going your way. You've got to dig even deeper when you're close to rock bottom. And I know we're not. I know it maybe feels like that from where we were in the league and our expectations at the start of the season. But we're not at rock bottom. But that doesn't mean to say that you I'm just speaking personally. I try much harder. I work so much harder when things look bleak and looks like things are not going to happen. And maybe I just expect others to do the same.
Do you agree, Nick? I know. See,
absolutely. I mean, I don't know, and nobody knows today. I mean, how good is the coaching? It's all right saying somebody's a nice guy, a good manager, a good coach, whatever. But they're all different. They're all different skills and all different attributes. And I just question, what do the training sessions look like? And none of us know. But we every now and then we score from a corner or a set piece, but 9 times out of 10 we don't. And I'm sorry, but and he gets a lot of flack. But Dan Barlas's free kicks, I'm sorry, but we just won't score with those. But so let's try something else. Corner kicks, we just don't look. And then I question, are they being told what is expected? Are they getting that drilled into them? Are they frightened, or are they not frightened? Is probably the wrong word, but are they concerned that they don't make mistakes and therefore they're trying a little bit harder? Or is it a case of, well, doesn't matter if we get beat, nothing will happen. It's same old, and I don't know is the answer. I can't believe that there's a lot of pressure put on the players by the management team. But again, we go back to where we were earlier in the season, and I questioned it, and I was shot down in flames that we lost Aaron Danks, an experienced coach, somebody who's there to be listened to, and we didn't replace him. Well, we did. We replaced him with Michael Carrick's brother. And then we've got 2 other guys at the club in the coaching side who, are Middlesbrough men. They're not Michael Carrick's men. Jonathan Woodgate and Grant Ledbetter aren't on Michael Carrick's backroom team because of Michael Carrick's choice.
Yeah, I'm saying the comments are flying and saying exactly what you're saying, Nick. I've said it for weeks. I've said it for months. I always noticed when Aaron Danks was here, it got to the crucial stages of the game between 60 and 75 minutes where that one change can either make or break a game, and it goes one way or the other. He was always on Carrick's shoulder, and I'm not saying he got it right every time. I'm far from saying that, but you always give him a bit of advice. Yes, you see Woodgate saying it most of the time, but the conviction doesn't. I might be being harsh, but quite frankly, I don't care anymore now.
Again, a little exclusive here that tomorrow evening, obviously we're at Stoke, play Derby on Saturday. John Eustace is going to the game tomorrow night, and he's going with Steve Round, who's now working as a consultant at Derby. And Steve's going to talk him through it, to assist, to guide, etc., etc. But we haven't got anybody of Steve Round's ability.
No, he was offered a position, wasn't it, at Borough?
Yeah, a long time ago. Well, that was when Woody came in as manager. But yeah.
I say he turned it down, walked away from the position. But no, you absolutely. I can't disagree with you, Nick. Your thoughts on that, John? I mean, we've been saying it for weeks, haven't we?
Yeah. Like I say, confidence does play. It does play a big part in sport, and I can't see anybody in the team, or I can't see anybody or hear of anybody in the backroom staff who've got the ability to drag players up from the floor, and to inspire them. I really want to see a bit of a nasty streak, if I can call it that, in the team. Where we don't let players pass. We don't let battles be won and be shoved off the ball so cheaply. I just want a bit more tenacity in all of our players.
We do mirror the gaffer's persona, though, don't we?
Yeah,
We-
yeah.
we-
I mean, Michael Carrick as a player and as a man, you see he doesn't get over emotional. I mean, we saw him jump for joy when Alex Gilbert scored last minute at Hull, but what, other than that, you don't see him get really sort of like hyped up if results are going well. Like the 3 games where we scored 4, we scored 5, we scored 6. He was very level-headed, kept his feet on the ground. He didn't sort of overplay that. And do you know what? That's how he is. That's how he played the game as well. That he was never your sort of he was as good as Roy Keane in midfield, but he was a totally different player. Roy Keane sort of ruled the midfield, not just because of his ability, but because the opponents were fearful of him. He was a hard man, and I want to see a little bit of like Roy Keane's abilities and his the way he played the game. I want to see that in our team. I just feel as though we're far too meek. It's annoying. It's a your opponents are not going to give you an inch. You've got to match that, and you've got to better it. They're not going to sort of like, oh yeah, sorry, I'm in your way. You can get that ball. Yeah, we seem to. We need to be as tough as old boots. We really do.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, the question has to be said, doesn't it? Does that persona from Carrick take away the nastiness from a squad? Does it take away the not the ability to do the housery, I suppose you could call it, but to take them yellow cards in the middle of the pitch. I know Hackney's got a knack of putting in the yellow card at the wrong time, but there's places to do it. When teams are on the break, I don't see us being that man to drag him down, just basically rugby tackle and sit on him. You see teams do that, and that's what you want. But we don't have it.
What are Hackney's yellow cards for? To me, the petty. I wouldn't mind seeing him get a yellow card if he got into a challenge and somebody came away with a broken nose, or not maliciously, but just physicality. Use it. We've seen Warnock lose his temper, so many times. Yet under him, Borough was still going the same way, sort of like taking a downward sort of like trajectory. So I don't know. It's not about ranting and raving a place for me. It's not about being over nice and buttering and up. There's got to be just the right way of saying things. And players, they're all individuals. They all need different ways of lifting them or berating them, but in a manner that won't knock the confidence. Hey, that's all about man management, and there's not very many managers who have that off to a T, but we've got to get this team of ours, because I think the quality of the players is good enough, but we're just not getting the best out of them all. And as a result, we are succumbing in games. And it's awful to see. I'm gutted. I can't get the matches now, and I have to watch it on TV. And I'm like a bear with a sore head. I'm gutted by it. I'd love to be at the match, because I can get over the match on the bus on the way home. I can open a bottle. I can have
It was a long
chats
way
with other
home, John, I
people.
tell you, on Friday night. 4:30, I got in.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I know, but you know what? I'd have had discussions with other people on the bus for the first half an hour with drinks in our hands, and then we'd have gone on to different subjects. We'd have turned the music up, and it's forgotten about. It's so frustrating sat at home watching it on the telly, because I can't do that. And anyway, fair play to all the Borough fans that went down there. We could hear it on the telly. Fair play to all the Borough fans who are going tomorrow night. I just pray to God that the team can give them as much commitment as them fans are shown.
It was for the first time, though, John, for the first time in a long, long time. I saw 3 separate incidents where fans were arguing with each other pretty heatedly. It didn't come to blows, but it was very, very close to coming to blows. Long time since I've seen that.
I can understand it. It's at that point, I mean, some people have strong opinions either way about the manager. Should he remain? Should he go? So that's sometimes going to manifest itself and boil over. Yeah, I've no doubt. You'll see it again tomorrow. Should the result not go in our favour, it's not nice to see, but that's what football does. Yeah, it's strong. It's strong in its opinions. It's strong in its passions. Bloody hell, Nick, me and you have had very many conversations on WhatsApp with well, opinions, shall we say? Yeah, disagreements you can call them, but yeah, and that's how it is. But it just shows you the passion that's out there.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and yeah, the videos have all gone round. A lot of fans did turn on Carrick on Friday night. And fair play from him. He wasn't one that just stood there and looked at the fans. He put his hands up and said, "It's on me." He took it away from his players, which. People will say, well, yeah, so he should. He's the manager. Absolutely right. But he didn't have to. He still did it. But, I mean, in one word from the pair of you, I'll start with you, Nick. I mean, you probably made your mind up, to be quite honest. Lose tomorrow. Do you think that's it?
Can I have more than one word?
Go ahead.
I genuinely don't know, Steve. I couldn't believe that after the Watford game, and I listened to the press conference after the Watford game, and I know they're all the same old, but he spoke like a man who knew, he was gone. He picked the team, like he knew it was his last game, and then we get the vote of confidence. Well, so we got beat on Friday night. If we get beat on tomorrow night, what then happens? I just don't know anymore. I don't understand. I'll hold my hands up. I don't understand what the club's thinking is. I don't understand what the chairman's thinking is. It's his choice. End of. No question about that. But I don't understand, because for me now, we're at a position where, let's say we win the next 3 or 4 games. I think it's very, very difficult now for that manager to ever get a lot of those fans back on side, because they'll just be waiting for the next time when we have another bad run.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And let's face it, we go back to the run, and you look at the run, and it's horrendous. But we got out of jail at Hull with a last-minute goal, and who's to say that if Tony Mowbray hadn't been at West Brom a week earlier, that we might have got beaten in that game as well?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's two fortuitous wins out, because I thought we played really well against West Brom, but
we did.
But I can absolutely see what you're saying, because you look at West Brom after that, and Mogga's got stuck into them. He's made the changes, because he's even held his hand up and said the change.
I mean, you look at
Frank
Lampard. Frank Lampard on the radio coming home tonight. He's won 7 out of 8 games, and the game he lost was against Leeds. Now, I don't rate Frank Lampard as a manager, but he's obviously got something, and he's obviously got to bounce out the players in some way, shape, or form. Because when he came to that club, they were 2 points away from the relegation zone.
Yeah, they were. We were all waiting for it. The whole country was waiting for Coventry to kick into life, because they always do. They always do. No matter how close they finish to the playoffs in May, they always kick into life in October, November, and they've just done exactly that. And we should be in that position, but we're not. But John, I'll put the same question to you. I know you're in the minority, and you've happily said that. Does he survive tomorrow night? if it's 6 defeats in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, Steve Gibson sort of put himself in a corner, really, hasn't he? By giving him a vote of confidence. He could have waited for a couple more games. If he had waited until after Bristol City, then I don't think there would be very many people saying that they expected Michael Carrick to stay. But because it was only 2 games ago that he got the chairman's vote of confidence, I don't think after tomorrow's game, should it be a defeat, that we'll see the end of Michael Carrick.
Wouldn't it have been nice though, John, if, again, that vote of confidence was almost done through a leak to the local press? Wouldn't it have been nice if the chairman had actually come out and said and given the reasons why, and then maybe the fans would have bought into it?
Yep.
I'd love to see the number of the season tickets have sold in the first week of going on sale. I bet it's a fraction of what it was last year.
Yeah. Well, Nick, I'll be honest with you. I've asked Steve Gibson personally on a number of occasions to come on this podcast, and he said he would, but he's never followed up on that. Now, I don't know why. He doesn't do a great deal of interviews, but it might be difficult for him coming in and now in the middle of a season this time of year. But I've asked him about after the season's finished, before the season started. I've asked him over the last few years to come on, and he said that he would, but that's never been followed up by him. But yeah, you're right. It would have been nice if he'd have held a 5 minutes without question conference just to give his thoughts. Maybe he wouldn't have felt comfortable answering questions, but maybe if he'd have just come out and said, taken everything on board, and this is the reason why, and he made that announcement himself, that would have been far better, in my opinion. Yeah.
I think after the years of when he sat there and said, "We're going forward with Steve Agnew," I think that is scary. And then coming out in the summer and saying, "We're gonna absolutely steamroll this league," that following summer.
Yeah.
I think he's probably backed off, hasn't he, and said, "I don't want to talk to the press," kind of thing. But
don't misquote him, Steve. What he said was, "We want to smash the league." And everybody has taken that out of context and said that he said we're going to. It was we want to. We all do. Maybe he's looking back at it now. He's thought they've jumped on that. They've misquoted me. But anyway, I'll keep badgering him. I'll keep trying to get him on. He must be sick to the death of me. But I'll keep trying my best.
Yes, please do. I say we know someone in the club listens to this. A couple of people listen to this in the club. Pass the message on to your boss. Get him on. End of the season in the summer. We'll come and sit in his boardroom. We'll come and sit in bulk hall. We'll sit in the field. We'll sit anywhere. Doesn't matter. Give us 30 minutes with him, and we just want to get his word out there. That's all we want. We're not saying we're going to back everything he says. We're not going to say we're going to go against everything he says. We just want to give the fans what they want. They want to hear from the man himself. They want to hear him say it. That's all we want.
It might have to be in a field. We can't do it in the stadium. It's not very good Wi-Fi signal, is
there? You're telling me. But quickly before I move on, I mean, my man of the match was Mark Travers on Friday night. Apart from the obviously the travelling army that went down. Nick, can you disagree with that?
No, I mean, he was light years. I mean, I thought Neto Borges had as good a game as he's played for quite some time. But he without Travers, as I said before, it could have been 5-1, 6-1, whatever,
Yeah, completely agree with you. Johnny, you agree with that? I mean, I would have gone for Neto Borges, but the saves that Travis made, he kept us in the game chunks of that.
Yeah, it had to be Travis. I thought the two centre halves played well.
Nobody had a horrendous game, did they? Nobody had a
no.
Nobody had a
No.
some of the performances we've seen recently where there's been an odd player who's but nobody merited sort of a 3 out of 10, did they?
No, not really. No. But like I say, I mean, you touched on it earlier, Steve, about Neto Borges going right up to the fans, not just at the edge of the box, not just at the penalty spot. He went right up to the sort of like as far as he could go without climbing into the stand to sort of like hold his hands up. And I don't think that was for him because, like I said, there was nothing he done individually that led to any of Bristol's goals. But I think it was nice to see that he was acknowledging that the length and the time and effort spent by the fans to get down there, and it was another defeat, and he was just trying to sort of like apologise, hold his hands up for that. But that's good to see, and I want to see that. I want the players really to acknowledge the commitment that the travelling fans do make. And like I said earlier, you could hear them on the TV. They were really getting behind the team. It's just unfortunate that they had to come back with nothing with regards points or anything, to remember by.
No, absolutely right. And usually I'd go into a preview about tomorrow night's game, and the only question I'd ask from the pair of you. Is there any changes that you would make? I'll start with you, Nick. Is there anybody you bring in from the bench? You think, what? I'd start him.
I don't know. As I said at the start, my only question mark on Friday was Iheanacho, and I've got the same position. I feel the same at the moment. I've got no knowledge whatsoever, but could Illing? I mean, he's played all over the place in every position except his favoured position, which apparently is on the left. But could Illing Junior slot in somewhere? I don't know.
I wouldn't say you don't have any knowledge. I reckon you're the fountain of knowledge, to be quite honest. But no, you're absolutely right. John, if I put a name to you, Finn Azaz, would you consider bringing him back in?
That was a name I was gonna mention. Finn Azaz in place of Iheanacho. It's going to be a difficult test. We're absolutely on the floor with our confidence levels. Stoke are the same. They'll be desperate, but they've got Sam Gallagher. Seems to do well against us occasionally, doesn't he? As does Mark Robbins. So we just have to keep our fingers crossed that we get something from this game and Derby. And I was having a chat with my brother today, and I said I want 6 points, but I'd gladly accept 4 points out of 6 the next 2 games, because that would stop this bad run that we're in, and keep us in with a slim chance of bothering the top 6.
We'll also be within 2 points of safety, John.
Nick, glass half full. Glass half fully, mate.
People have posed the question, haven't they? Have said, if it keeps going, we are going to start looking over our shoulder. But
without being funny, I mean, we can't say without those games, but those 3 games with 4, 5, and 6. If we hadn't won them, we would have been looking over our shoulders.
Oh yes, exactly. Yeah, but
we can't go down now. But it's
no. There's. I was going to say there's teams poorer than us, lower than the league, but if you look at the form table, there really isn't. So, but that's another question. So, we'll finish it off by. I'll start with you, Nick. Score prediction for tomorrow night.
Well, I'm split at the moment. I'm on either 0-0 or a 1-0 victory. I don't know why. I'm gonna go about. You know, the last time I was on, I predicted 0-0 and it was right. I'm gonna go for 0-0 again.
Yeah, you did. John, come to you.
Well, I'm split. Either 1-0 or 2-0. I don't think it's going to be a goal fest by any stretch of the imagination. But I'll go 2-0 the Borough, and get the win, hopefully.
That is a very optimistic
and
2-0.
And Tommy Conway as a anytime goal scorer.
I'm going 1-1, and I'm going Sam Gallagher. Because, like you said, he's just an absolute pain in the backside against Borough. It's always big, tall strikers, isn't it? Peter Crouch is the same. John Stedwood's the same. We can't deal with height, and I don't know why, and it bugs me. But I'll stay with you, John.
Dale Fry is normally our man for that, so hopefully, hopefully he starts tomorrow and he takes care of Sam Gallagher.
Well, last time we said something like that, Jared Banthwaite stuck a boot straight in his eye. So, I'll refrain judgment from anything like that. It's why I can't watch him, Evan. I still think I watched what he did at Riverside. But I'll stay with you, John. Saturday, Derby at home. Third bottom Derby. The third bottom or the fourth bottom? One or two. Goal difference in the round. There you go. See, told you a fountain of knowledge. John, come to you. Goals. I'll just go score prediction. I won't ask for a goal score until later in the week.
Okay, 2-0 Borough.
Wow. So you're going
for
2-0
victories on the bounce. Yep.
That morphine they're giving you for your leg is absolutely
magic. Yeah. This gas and air is lovely.
Nick, I'll come to you.
I'm going to go 2-1 Tommy Conway.
2-1 who, 2?
Us.
Good. All right. I was just checking, Nick,
1-0 Borough, Hayden Hackney. Nice and easy. I think we'll scruff it out at home. 4 points from 6 will do me this week. I'm not saying the season's over. I'm not saying, I just don't know anymore. But, on that note, we'll leave it there. John, keep your leg at a nice, steady angle. Don't jump about if Borough score tomorrow. And take it easy, and I'll keep in touch. Nick, always good to have you on. And we have many a chat, so I'll be in touch again very soon.
I'm sorry I'm so negative, but that's 50 years of it, Steve.
Exactly. I'll be exactly the same when it comes to it. No, I appreciate your honesty. That's why we have you on. You're honest, and I wouldn't have it anyway. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much. But and to you people watching, listening, subscribing, liking, commenting, and keeping us doing this every week. Thank you, and we'll see you again next week when hopefully, touch wood, we have something positive to talk about, because that was quite a negative podcast. So arrivederci, up the Borough, be seeing you. Toodaloo.
See you later. 2-0 wins up the Borough.
Up the Borough.